This is as groovy as it gets.
Oprah, Can You Hear Me? Oprah vs. Donald 2020 is a conversation by Julie Benetti and Susan Barbaro and a production of EI Alliance, copyright 2019. America is courtesy of New Threads off their new album, Felonious Wilma.
Hi, this is Julie, and I'm back with Susan. We have yet another in the line of the Oprah, Can You Hear Me podcast.
And just, we don't ever sit down. We kept saying, we're just going to do 5 podcasts and put it up because that's all we need to get it up. And here we are. Was this number 20? We actually we're doing a podcast on one of the ancient texts. And Julie had this amazing epiphany. I'm not going to call it
right. So here's where the generation of it comes from, because we're doing, like you said, a podcast in our other series, Ancient Texts, and we're talking about The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. And it also, the energy of it relates to our other podcast, The Kybalion, which is another series we have where we talked about and investigated the book, The Kybalion. And all these things have a vibration of energy that can take you into so many aha moments. And I looked at Susan and I looked at you and I said, I don't know. What's stopping Oprah? And I just kind of heard the aha moment. And I started to think, if you had a huge amount of ahas and you got stuck in the aha, when you have an aha moment, any of these things that you read, like, we investigate,
yep.
When we looked at Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching, and we looked at As a Man Thinketh, and when we, even converse about the Kybalion, and now we're conversing about the power of your subconscious mind, and also in our energy podcasts, let's talk about energy, ours and yours. We just posted a lot of our conversations about our book, Energetic Invocations, where we just candidly sat down and talked about, like I like to say, we gave the author's cut, which nobody's heard of before, kind of like the director's cut, where we candidly sat down and talked about, why we wrote about what we wrote, going from section to section and part to part. And there are numerous times in that material where we reached aha moments. And, we had notes, and we still have notes, but we don't stop there. And and as we were just kind of finishing up the Power of Your Subconscious Mind intro podcast to Joseph Murphy's book, I just kind of got this sensation of, wow, if you stop at a aha moment, because I have lots of notes, and you kind of stop at it, and you try to remember the quote, and you try to remember the feeling it takes you to, and you try to remember the sensation, and it gives you a little bit of a, ooh. Well, if you stop at that, that's it. There's so much more. There's so much more of what, our unconscious mind is capable of, where our thoughts go and what our thoughts create, and there's so much more to propel from. If you're just getting stuck in a moment, you're basically stuck in the moment. And so when I said to you, oh my gosh, I wonder, and I don't know what the conversation is, or if Oprah's having a conversation with Gail or with Stedman or with anyone about the possibility of running. And, we set this up because we're looking at Trump, and we've looked at Trump in our energy book. And, you can see Trump every day because he's out there, on the airwaves, and he's tweeting, and, he's live and he's out there, his whole reality show in that sense. So we don't know what's going on with Oprah, but, I kind of candidly wonder, hello? Right now it's March 2019. So, we have how many podcasts, contemplating this, but also talking about the energy of it. And it just makes me wonder, so what would be the stop point? Because a part of also our conversation is when you get into the cool parts of energy and what you can do with it, and how much, power you have when you go in and you quiet what's out there. There's so many cool places to go, and there's so much to do with it. You can't, how do you keep that up? How do you stay in that momentum?
Well, what I was saying too, before we turn this on, is the power of the subconscious mind is wonderful because it really gets into the magic of living here and the opportunities. In our book, Energetic Invocations, a book of vibrational change, is exactly what we said. It quiets society. It somehow gives you you read through it and it makes you think, you start having to hear your own thoughts, but they're supported, and you quiet outside. And then Joseph Murphy's The Power of Your Subconscious Mind is another way of empowering and accessing, again, the energy and the magic. But then when you go to, like we said, the Kabbalion, that's beyond you. That's about life. That's about everything.
Right.
And so if you're just caught on one piece of it, I mean, that's why you and I keep looking for things to read and do. Because each time we do it, the aha moments are fast and furious.
Right.
And to sit on one is like, what? You got to keep you keep going because there's another one coming. And there's so many facets to life and to living here. And you know, it's interesting because we talk about self-help. The self-help is boring.
Right. Yeah.
The self-help is, really just looking at one piece of life. And once you quieted things down and you get out of that space of the petty issues of society, and you look at it and you have a step back. I mean, it even comes down to publishing. We joked because, you know, different people have contacted us about publishing our stuff, and we're like, hello, have they not seen? We did it. We self-published. We figured it out, and we earn the rewards from it. We're not stuck, being told you can't do this, you can't do that. This needs to be changed. We work really hard, and we're not conforming to anybody.
Exactly.
And so once you get that and you move in that space of your own, what you've created, and we're just giving an example. I mean, everyone should do the same thing. You do what you want. You bring what's inside of you out. And then again, then you get past it, then you go into life. Then once you see it and you see the rewards, then again the Kabbalion comes in. And then I think about it, where all the work we've done, and I look back to self-help, it almost makes me want to, throw up.
It's a contradiction of terms because it's not really self-help at all. And actually, we were talking before about how, so much is, the Joseph Murphy book helps because so much is, this is the process, this is how you have to do it, this is how this is it, now you got to do it, no, you're wrong, now you. And that's kind of this, and self-help all, derives itself from, what my story is. And then this is what I overcome. This is what occurred. And granted, those are great stories and those are empowering, yet those are individual stories. We're all connected, sure, yet accessing an aha moment from a lot of that, sometimes you most often to maintain that energy, because you can't just go from one aha to the next to the next to the next to the next. You have to create it and originate it in yourself.
And wouldn't it stink if it was the same aha moment with just a different little twist? It's the same thing,
right?
And so it's funny because you said self-help. It's really it's not self-help, it's self-paralysis.
Yes.
You know.
Yep.
And is that where a lot of people are stuck, and maybe that's where Oprah is. Maybe she's in that
And the funny thing is that's not all there is, because that's a whole industry, and that's been an industry for a really long time. And so it's kind of like, well, I need to go find a book on this. Well, go to the self-help industry, and then either choose someone's story, or here's a workbook, or here's something, or here's that. And it's really kind of, that clouds your own voice sometimes, because you don't want to be comparing and competing with somebody else and saying, well, wait, what's my story? Does it fit the pattern? Does it? I mean, it becomes very chaotic.
Well, I actually believe it's self-defeating, because then, I mean, for me, when I would read some of this and, people say I'm inspired, how long does that last?
Right.
And then all of a sudden it's self-defeating, because then you feel like, oh God, how come everybody else is happy? Why can't I be happy? Why can't I and so it's self-defeating.
Right. And when in actuality, what we all are kind of looking for is self-empowerment.
Yes.
And that's really when you go to your voice. You clear out everything, you go to your voice, you raise the volume on your voice, and you move from that. And you also give yourself the power that you have and acknowledge that you have the power to make things occur.
Well, here's the funny thing is we all have the power, and whether or not you acknowledge that or not is another story. But
exactly.
It is, and so that's an interesting concept, when you said that about Oprah.
And questioning the aha moments, I think is important for all of us, because are you generating the ahas, or are you finding that quote? And sometimes, you can listen to a song, you can, go to science, you can go to look at nature, and that can spark in you, yet where you propel is really the aha moment. And that propelling is of your own accord.
Right.
It can't just be, ooh, everybody else felt it, I should feel it too. And if you're not feeling it, hey, that's okay, because it's something different for you.
Oh, because maybe it's really stupid, and everybody else is, it's, the Emperor's New Clothes, Story of the Emperor's New Clothes. I mean, and sometimes I sit there and people are, oh my God, and I'm looking around, what the hell did I just miss? What's going on? This is stupid. So it'll be interesting, and you know what? The question becomes, are you going to follow in Oprah's footsteps? Or are you going to really work on propelling yourself?
Thank you for listening to this production from EI Alliance. Check out our Amazon authors pages for books and podcasts, along with our Donald Trump and Oprah books for this series. Find great music by New Threads on iTunes, Spotify, and on newthreads.us.